veggies involved. Let me just eat this nugget. I think this is buffalo. And you probably heard me say, I think, and that is because this is not the order, and this was not supposed to be the video. So, I'm just gonna okay, there we go. So my order was supposed to be a spicy chicken Asiago sandwich and some fries. But as you can see, this is not what we got. So, this is everything that happened according to my DoorDasher. So, he went to the Wendy'S in question. He told them that they were there for my order, a spicy chicken, a spicy chicken sandwich, and fries, right? The waiters were rude, or the cashiers were very rude. I also ordered a drink. I didn't get my drink. My drink was a Coke. So yeah, they just shoved him a bag and said, "All right, be on your way," right? But there's a bit going on in the background that also needs to be said. Actually had these before on a previous video, but it was the barbecue. I prefer the barbecue. That's just me though. But anyway, my driver gets here and he's talking to me, but there's an issue. He only speaks Spanish. And in the exchange, he was doing another he was doing another drop off before he got here. And that person had a drink. So I have a bit of a theory. I think that they gave him my order not knowing that he had my order, if that makes sense. Very unorthodox for a sec, so we're just gonna focus on this. Very sorry. I understand if you click off if you're here for the saucy nuggets, but for some reason those taste very odd. It started off alright, but the more I kept eating it, the more it got weirder. you know. For my dasher as well. I told him not to worry. And if I kind of do the math, unfortunately, somebody got ripped off, but for me, I actually got more than what I paid for. I got some water. I was considering adding a tea bag into my water bottle, but I decided against it. Just regular old water is gonna do, so cheers. Good. So, into the book world of things for me. I don't know why. I've been kind of heavily scrutinizing my book. I said it in a previous video, but I'm considering either paying for like a writing aid, like a Grammarly or something along those lines. So that I can, you know, do better with my writing. My writing feels very cookie cutter at the moment. So there's that. And also I have updates on the books I'm reading. Alright, so I finished reading The City in Glass by, I'm not gonna try it, Mrs. Foe. This person. So, as I said before, the beginning of this book was really up my alley. It was very action-y, things were happening. You know, I was getting the vibe of the book, right? The action and everything was at an all-time high. But after some point, it just kind of, you know, the rest of the book became very reflective and, you know, kind of like that gradual change over time. I wouldn't say it's a trope, but it never got back to that initial, you know, that initial thing, you know. But you gotta remember, I'm a guy, so, well, that actually doesn't excuse it. So I grew up really liking very action-y, adventure-y type of tales, right? But for this book, it started off really action-y, and I got my hopes up thinking, oh, you know, it's gonna keep being like but regardless, it was still a really good book. The ending was kind of, foreshadowed, but I guess it makes sense. It's a bit weird, but I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I recommend reading it, but just if you're someone who likes the history of a place, definitely give that book a shot. I think you'll like it. And the book I'm reading, this is from my DNF list. I'm going to try to complete my DNF list by the end of the year. It is Mitch Albom's The Stranger in the Lifeboat. And so I don't intend to get into my own personal beliefs as much. Let's just say I found this book and it was just at a bad time. Things were happening and it just didn't feel like a very good read at that moment. And the weird thing is that I predicted that this would be a very easy read to get through because the word text in the book is very, very big. I think it's 12 font. And the chapters are very short. I started reading around 3 hours ago. It wasn't the full 3 hours. I think maybe an hour. Yeah, about an hour. And I am currently on page 55. Yeah, it's been pretty easy to read. My goal is to finish this by the end of the week, which I will most likely do. And then I can start another book. And the next book I'm going to be reading is Hyperion by Dan Simmons. I guess the thing about Hyperion that made me stop reading it was that sometimes not knowing the publication date is ignorance is bliss. So I found out this book was made in the early 90s, and I thought about how the early 90s sci-fi media went, and it kind of screwed with how I was perceiving the story. I was thinking about early 80s, early 90s sci-fi, those type of sci-fi influences, and I was thinking about like killer clowns and outer space and stuff like that. Very cheesy sci-fi movies, and it kind of killed it for me. So I'm just gonna go in, chalk it all out, and then just continue on and enjoy it, Last bite. So yeah, guys, I have work tomorrow. I have to, put on my big boy pants and go and do corporate world stuff. So I'm gonna see you next one.